deep. You're Ken Kell. You're the hockey guy. I go, I don't know anything about this stuff.
This is The Conversation Line, presented by Fieger Law.
What's up, Red Wings fans? Welcome to another episode of The Conversation Line, brought to you by Fieger Law. I'm Daniella alongside the radio voice of your Red Wings, Ken Kell. And joining us today, Red Wings forward Alex DeBrincat. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I was like going through our topics today, and I'm just going to start off with what the fans want to hear about. Do you have a guess as to what this is?
Yeah, I'm sure Archie and Maverick maybe. More Archie, but I'm sure they want to know a little bit about that.
That's right. We talked to Patrick Kane last a couple of weeks ago, and we talked a lot about Archie and PK3 and their little friendship that they've built, but the fist bump line has become iconic, and those two kind of leading the charge in that. How cool is that for you to have them there, before every game, waiting for you after warm-ups?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite parts about the game. I think obviously seeing them just get all fired up when we come down the hallway is great, and they bring some energy, get us fired up for the game. So it's a lot of fun to have them there, and it's kind of a new tradition to have them there, and give them some hugs before we go.
What's the most challenging part about being a hockey dad?
I would say being gone quite a bit. I think as they get older, it's a little bit tougher to leave, and I don't know if he fully understands why I'm leaving yet. So I think that's tough, but otherwise it's great. I think he really enjoys going to the games, and he's a hockey fanatic now. So he just wants to do hockey all the time, play hockey, watch hockey. He kind of wakes up, and that's the first thing on his mind. So it's cool to watch that, and I'm sure that's how I was as a kid too. So it's definitely fun.
It's funny, a lot of the comments we got when we did this with Patrick Kane, it was Hawks fans, it was Wings fans saying, I can't wait till it's Archie and PK3 being drafted in the same year, and things like that. It's just cool to see the friendship that they've built. And you talk about, he's a hockey fanatic now. Can he even skate yet? Is he up on skates?
He can stand there. He can take a couple steps, but mostly fall down. We're working on it, but he's only been on the ice a couple times, and try to get him out there a little more frequently coming up.
Yeah.
Are there any similarities to when you look at your kids and say, wow, I remember when I used to be like that? Can you see those similarities?
Yeah, 100%. I think as a kid, obviously, I probably don't remember being his age, but, a little older, like hockey was all I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. My dad would build us a rink in the backyard every winter, and me and my brother would go out there and play for hours, every day. That was the one thing we wanted to do. So I definitely see the similarity there, and he definitely wants to put his equipment on in the house, walk around the house in his equipment, his helmet, and I think it's definitely very similar to what I did as a kid.
Do you kind of love that little Patrick likes you and Lucas and maybe Mo some days, Larkin, more than his dad, it seems like? You guys walk by and he gets way more excited.
For sure. I think that's definitely fun, and he's a little bit older, so he knows all the guys' names, and knows their numbers and stuff. He tapes all his sticks like all of us, so it's definitely cool. I'm still Archie's top player right now, so that's fun. It'll be a little sad when that goes away, but for right now it's awesome, and I think with Patty, he's enjoying it, and he's a little bit older and really can grasp a lot of different things that Archie doesn't really, so that's fun to watch as well.
Alex, you brought up the backyard rink, and I remember as a kid, we all made them. The weather was a little bit different way back when I was growing up, but it's a little changed now. But was it a family affair when you would get out there and make it, or was it your dad that would just go out there and make the rink?
My dad mostly made the rink. Yeah, he did it the old school way.
You just skated on it, right?
Yeah, no. He would build it with wood. He would go to the store, get wood, build it. Probably took him forever, and now there's like the easy rinks that you get, and it's not as hard to build those. But yeah, he really took the time to build it, and I think we weren't very grateful then, but obviously looking back, we're really grateful at what he did for us to really grow up and love the game, and just give us every opportunity to do what we loved. So, not everyone gets that chance, and my dad was definitely great for that.
So you grew up in Farmington Hills, and then in high school you transferred to a prep school in Illinois. Was that solely a hockey decision?
Yeah. I think my brother went to school there for a couple of years, and we really liked the school and the coach and just the program that they had there. So I went there for 1 year. Was probably supposed to be there a little bit longer, but ended up going to the OHL. So everything happens for a reason, and it was good to kind of be out on my own at such a young age and grow up a bit and kind of learn some different things and be away from the family, which obviously is tough, but I think it definitely developed me into who I am today.
Alex, at what age did you say, you know what, I want to be a hockey player and I want to make it in the NHL one day? Did that come to mind? What age was that?
As long as I can remember.
Really?
That's all. I wanted to be a Zamboni driver for a long time.
You could still do that, I
Hockey player
think.
was second.
Now
so.
that would be cool. To have you in between periods just driving that Zamboni around, that would be great.
Maybe that's a retirement
Yeah,
job.
maybe. But I would always want to see the Zambonis when I would go to the rink, and that was when I was really young. And then I don't know, maybe 6, I was full-blown hockey player. Never really strayed away from it. So kind of was my goal growing up all through my childhood, and I was lucky enough to make it happen.
Who was your guy? Like, who'd you watch and say, I want to be that guy?
Datsuk probably was my favorite player. I'm sure he's a lot of people's favorite player growing up, and but I wouldn't say I have much of his skill set. So it was a lot of fun to watch, and I think just watching the Red Wings growing up was a big reason why we were so in love with the game, me and my brother, and we watched every game at home, and every time we would get a chance to watch them, we would definitely watch them.
I believe it was 1997 is when you were born, right, in December?
Yep.
So when the Red Wings won the Cup in 1997, you were 6 months old, something like that. At what point, did you know, like, wow, this is a really good team, and, they're winning Stanley Cups, and they're always in the playoffs?
I think I took it for granted then. I just thought it was normal, you know? I think, to have a team go to the playoffs, all those years in a row is, you definitely take it for granted. I didn't know anything else until, like, they missed the playoffs when I was, maybe not as much of a fan anymore. I feel like, kind of dealing with my own stuff in junior and all that. And, but I think it's, was definitely great for me growing up and seeing, successful teams. I think I remember 02 a little bit, but, 08 was I remember pretty good, and it was a lot of fun to watch those playoff games, and to have your team win a Stanley Cup is pretty special.
You talked about going to the OHL, and that was after 1 year at the prep high school in Illinois, and you had planned to go to college in Massachusetts, right? What went into the change of heart to go straight to junior and play in the OHL?
I think just the whole situation of I would have had to wait a couple more years to go to college, and the situation I was going into in Erie, I think there were a lot of great players on the team and a lot of NHL scouts at every game. So I think that was kind of played into the decision, and my goal was to make it to the NHL, not to play college hockey. So once we learned a little bit more about the OHL and how they develop players, and my parents were obviously big school people, so once they learned a little bit more about it, they were happy to let me go, and obviously I wouldn't change a thing now, so it all worked out.
You put up some amazing numbers with Erie, and I was just looking, 167 goals in 3 years there, and you had a whale of a team. You had a chance to play with Connor McDavid too. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was awesome. I think all 3 years I was there, we had good teams. We had over 50 wins every year. It was a lot of fun to learn from, players like McDavid, Strome. We had, I could go down a list of NHL players that I played with, and it was so fun to learn from them. I think going in my first year, you try to, take everything in and really learn from those guys who had been there for a little bit, and obviously those top draft picks obviously knew what they were doing, so try to take some things from their game and put it into your own, and I think, they were really good at developing players. I think the coaching staff was great. I learned so much about, how to play the game, how to act like a pro, how to treat your body off the ice. And I think that was a lot of things that, really turned me into the player I am today.
You were drafted by the Hawks in 2016 in the second round, and you went to their camp that year, right? You went to training camp. What were your early impressions of NHL training camp? Like, what do you remember about that first camp?
It was a lot faster than what I was used to. Seeing all those guys. I think the World Cup was that year, so a lot of guys came in late. The Hawks had a lot of players in that, and I think a couple of those guys came back like a day or two before I got cut from the team, and but it was so cool to be in that environment for the first time, and it's the same thing as when I went into junior. You try to take some things away from those top players, and how they act like pros and treat their body off the ice, and I think you just take away as much as you can.
Now, you participated in the prospects tournament one year in Traverse City, right?
Yep. 2 years I did.
2 years,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing you play, and I'm going like, "Who's this DeBrincat kid? He's always putting a puck in the back of the net. How come the Red Wings didn't draft this guy?" But no, I mean, was the experience good being from Michigan and playing up there in Traverse City?
Yeah, it was cool. I think you hear about that tournament all the time growing up, and to be able to play in it, and it's kind of your first taste of wearing the jersey and playing against other NHL teams and other prospects and stuff. So it's a lot of fun up there, and I think it's kind of unfortunate the tournament's died down a bit. But when I was there was maybe 8 teams, so you play a lot, and then to be able to try to win it is pretty fun experience. You get to meet all the prospects, be on a team with them, and kind of make some new buddies.
So you've been through some different situations already in your young NHL career, obviously starting in Chicago, playing with guys like Patrick Kane, and the relationship you've built with him. They decide to kind of go through the rebuild process, and you end up in Ottawa, not the best fit for you, and then you're here. Can you just kind of describe your journey to this point and some of the things you've learned, some of the biggest things you remember about your career so far?
I think being in Chicago for 5 years, I learned so much from those guys playing with, Sharpie, Siebes, Dunks, Taser, Kaner, all those guys. I'm sure I'm forgetting some people, but, just to have those guys and future Hall of Famers to look up to so young in my career, and like I said, learn from, and, they practice so hard. They've won 3 cups and MVPs and Conn Smythe and all that, and they're still out there after practice working on their game. It was cool to see them not really be satisfied at that point, and still working to be the best. And I think that's something that I picked up early, and you try to keep that work ethic. And obviously Ottawa was great for me. I think we had a young team, so it's totally different dynamic from what I was used to in Chicago, and met a lot of great friends there, and learned a different style of game, to how to play, and a little bit different style of than what I was used to. So I think you can learn from every coach you have, every player you meet. You can always take things away, and that was a good experience for me as well. And then obviously being here, now another new coach, but you learn, like I said, some things from every coach you have, and you may not agree with all of them, but you take some good things away from everyone. So it was it's awesome up to this point. I'm hoping to get some better results moving forward, and hopefully some playoff hockey.
Alex, do players enjoy when you go back to Ottawa? We heard the boos from the crowd over there. I mean,
You still get 'em.
Isn't that like something that's inspirational for you as a hockey player, knowing that, hey, they're booing me, but I want to show you what I can do here.
Yeah, it was different the first time I went there. I think this year when it was happening, Kaner goes over to me and says, they don't boo nobodies. So I think that's cool. I think it's cool to happen. I think, like I said, the first time was a little bit weird. Didn't love it as much, but going back there, I think it's all fun. It's they can have their opinions of what I was or what I was there, and I think now it's kind of far gone, so it is what it is, and it's just a fun experience to go there and feel that.
I just think it's respect, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
when you go to a visiting, team and they boo you, it's like,
Yeah.
that tells you you're a great hockey player.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. I think that was to Kaner's point. It was like, they're not booing somebody that they don't care about.
Right.
So,
Right.
it's like I said, it's fun. It's all fun and games, and you kind of learn that as you go through it. And I think it's cool to go back there and see all my old friends there and play against them.
So you mentioned the coaching change recently here in Detroit. Forgive me for not knowing this, but have you ever gone through a coaching change mid-season? The way that
Yeah, I've gone through two before this. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
Quinville got fired
Yep.
my second year, a little bit earlier in the year than this, and I feel like it's hard to comprehend what's going on when you're so young
Yeah.
and you're just trying to, stay afloat in the league and just doing your best. So it was a little bit different then, and then my last year in Chicago, there was another coaching change mid-year, and again, it was a little bit different, but I think it brings a new energy to the team, and obviously, I think when something like that happens, it's not really the coach's fault. I think it's a lot of the players not performing or whatever it may be, but I think it's to get a change. Guys get excited, and it's just something different. So I think different is good, and we can all learn from what we weren't doing well, and how it got to that point. So I think a new voice is good sometimes, and hopefully we can turn this thing around.
How tough is it for a player, because you had a certain system that you guys used under Lalone, and now you got McClellan in there probably doing something different. I mean, the game's fast enough that's happening on the ice. Is it a difficult transition for a player?
I think you kind of slowly transition into a new system if that's the case. Some coaches use the same system. I think we probably will change our systems a little bit, but I think once you do it in practice a couple times, it kind of becomes second nature, and you just kind of play hockey. So I think sometimes it can be challenging. I'm sure there's going to be some mess ups in the game and stuff like that, but overall, I think if we all just focus on what we need to do, it shouldn't be too bad.
You mentioned that, a coaching change isn't always 100% on the coach, right? It's something to do with the players. And we heard McClellan talk to us in his introductory press conference that he's going to ask for more from you guys individually and as a team. Just where do you think the disconnect was? And now how do you guys fix that moving forward, especially now that you have a new voice in the room?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. I don't think it's tough to say what really was the problem. I think it ended up not working, and we would go out there and we would try our hardest and really work hard. And it seems like this year we haven't been able to score as much as previous years, and it just wasn't going in. So I think you get frustrated, you get you kind of start wondering why it's not going in, and then unfortunately, I think sometimes when you're frustrated, you're changing your game, and I think it's a trickle-down effect from one thing to the other, and then it just becomes sloppy hockey. So I think that's the case, and I think when new voice, you start to dial it back in, and you start to focus on what he wants from us, and which obviously it shouldn't take that to start dialing it in, but sometimes that's what it takes, and we got to go out there and really execute, and keep pucks out of our own net, and obviously put some in theirs.
Alex, you told us about your love for hockey. We all know that you love playing the game. You love your kids. But aside from that, what does Alex DeBrincat like to do when he's away from the arena?
In the summer, I like to golf a lot. In the winter, there's not much else to do. So, usually just go home and play with the kids, and, probably play more hockey in the playroom. And, that's a lot of it. But, yeah, in the summer, it's fun to just get out in the sun and play some golf, or, go to the park, or, I don't know. I don't do too much, so pretty boring guy, but that's mostly what I like to do.
Who's the best golfer on the team?
I think Fish is the best golfer.
Really?
We have a lot of good golfers, though, I think. Copper's good. Larks is good. I'm sure I'm missing some guys, but there's a lot of guys there who are that low handicap and can really hit it around.
Alex, I know we've talked to you about this a lot, but it's not common that somebody gets to make it to the NHL and then also play for the team that they grew up rooting for just down the street from their hometown. Yeah. Do you still have to kind of remind yourself of how cool of an experience that is?
Yeah, yes. Sometimes, sometimes you're frustrated and you take it for granted, and then you just take a step back and, think how cool it is and how proud I am to wear that jersey and, be a part of this organization and, to wear that uniform every night is so special to me and obviously my family too. So it really is a dream come true. It
probably is a lot easier for your family too to watch you here as opposed to if you're in Ottawa or Chicago somewhere, right?
Yeah. I think they would catch obviously not as many games as they do here. They pretty much come to every game here. So, they're seeing a lot more games and, my parents are going back to the team they rooted for when I was young and, even when they were young. So it's definitely a really special experience that sometimes you just need to take a step away and, remember how special it is and, not get too caught up and, everything that's going around and or going on and, just really embrace it and feel good about it.
Well, Alex, we appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.